Before we begin, thank you very much to Please Help, I'm Trapped in Through Adam's Basement for joining the Patreon campaign. This is not actually a real Patreon shout-out. Someone, please, anyone, help me. He's had me here for years. I have not seen my own room in a long time. This is a green screen. This is a green screen. Someone, please send help. Nothing, Mr. Adams. I'll get back to my video. I wasn't saying anything. I'll do the news roundup now. So don't hurt me. Don't hurt. Let's actually talk about some Transformer news for the week, shall we? So the weird thing is, there's no He Who news this week for me to wrap up on. It's all business because we had a brand new trailer for a brand new Transformers movie drop, so a lot of it is Transformers 1 centric, and then Takara decided to throw things at us too. So let's just go into it. There is a big interview with the director, Josh Cooley, and it goes a lot into like his own preferences for Transformers, why they're telling this origin story, as well as certain directions they've gone on, basically confirming that yes, he's a fan of the franchise. He's gone through as much of the actual like lore Bible as he can, and he wants to present something that is faithful to Transformer fans. Of course, there's a lot that show that in the trailer, but also that he can actually produce something that's easy for audiences to just sit and enjoy as well. And that's just general hype. That's generally what you do in these situations. You want to make sure that you're like running the middle of the line when it comes to promoting the movie, because you want to make sure that everyone goes to see it. Whether you don't want to say, okay, well, we really decided to make this for the fans, because that cuts the casual audience out and go, well, I don't want to read through 40 years of backstory just to understand this movie. And you don't want to say, like, okay, well, we wanted to make a movie that kids and families could enjoy, because then the diehard fans will go, well, okay, so you're just going to screw up my franchise. So it's very much middle of the line, but it does go into depth about just why this movie is the way it is, how character-centric it is, the direction for Orion Pax and D16. So they do. There's a lot of stuff to read here. It's a big interview. I'm not going to go recap the whole thing for you. Go read it. Go read it on TFW 2005 or on Screen Rant, because that's where the original source was. There's just a lot of info about the movie. Just a lot of info about the movie. But we do have a little bit more. So if we look here, here's our first poster for the movie, featuring the 4 main characters in all their brand new designs, pre-transformation cog. It's a good looking poster. Nothing really wrong to say about it. Unlike the trailer, we get to see Cybertron in bright light, which makes it look way nicer. And apparently they do emphasize the whole part about the surface, and like, because here we have like the standard city, and then we have the upside down city. So 2 different layers of Cybertron going on here. So, it's not a bad looking poster, and on top of that, we did get actual character posters, which are basically just close-ups of them. There's Chris Hemsworth, Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. It's a very strong smile there, Bumblebee. Scarlett Johansson as Elita 1. And then, of course, D16 by Brian Hendry. This is pretty standard, but it definitely like shows, they're trying to touch all bases here, which is not a bad choice. It's fine. We got posters. We want toys. Let's see toys. We got a sneak peek at the new packaging for Transformers 1. Now, because it is a product for 2024, there are no windows on the boxes. We know that's a 2025 thing. But this is just like the standard mainline figures, about the equivalent of Cyberverse Deluxes from the looks of it. Or I guess now Earthspark Deluxes, so take that for what you will. It's nice packaging. It definitely it holds to some of the things from the current packaging, like the location of the vehicle, or alternate mode in this case, the vertical, like turned Transformers logo down the side. It's not bad. It's not bad for what it is. I like that the logo for the movie is nice and bold on the front. The name is not, obfuscated or tucked away. It's like big bold on the bottom. Good spot. Good placement. And yeah, the blue and purple is nice too. Now, it's a nice look. It's a nice looking packaging. It'll stand out. Still wish there were windows, but hey, that's still a year off. I don't think there's anything more to it. We only got that one quick look. We do, however, have official look at the actual mainline toys, or actual photography for. For starters, the Bumblebee mask from Rise of the Beast is making a return with a repainted detail. I am not sure why they're bothering with this, because Bee in the movie does not look anything like this. Not even when he's wearing his battle mask does he look anything like this. It's just a repaint just to fill the line, which is unfortunate, because like these are like super weird and kind of clever. So I really wouldn't have minded if they did another one. They didn't even remold the robot mode head, so it's just like standard live action Bumblebee, which is disappointing. Optimus does have a brand new one, however. Doesn't look quite like he does in the movies. It might have been based on pre-production stuff, but yeah, it's a completely new mold from the looks of it. Yeah, and it's a very blue Optimus Prime in robot mode. So nice to see those were popular enough that they are continuing them. It's one of the things people talked about the most out of the last movie, as far as the toy lines go, because it's such a weird choice. It's such a weird product. But mask toys are kind of a thing for Hasbro, so it's nice they figured out how to make it transform too. Hopefully this one is more comfortable to wear. Now we have the larger simple figures for little kids, more along the lines of like your Titan changers. Here's the Bumblebee. Remember, not a collector's piece. This is something that's cheap and big for kids who just want something that looks like Bumblebee and still transforms. So we're not going to begrudge it for just looking super cheap, because it's supposed to be super cheap. The Megatron is even cheaper, because unfortunately that's just a repaint of one that they've already done. It might not even be a repaint, it might just be a straight re-release and a repack, which is, again, very disappointing. I hate that these creators and the writers and all the directors, both for this and Earthspark, are putting so much effort into brand new takes and looks for some of these classic characters, and Hasbro's just going, yeah, whatever, just here's a cheap Megatron we already made, just put in a new box and ship it, who cares? Because D16 is going to present Megatron so differently, and he really should have some toys to back that up, and I'm sure there will be D16 toys, but this is kind of a letdown, because these are super cheap, so development on these is not nearly as intense as normal Transformers. You would think they'd put a little bit of effort into making one that's actually screen accurate. Actually represents the movie well. Starscream, too. The Starscream's also a repack. If anything, I think it's got even less paint than the original one had. Okay, but on to something that is actually a brand new toy. We have Alpha Trion with his Beast mode, which does seem loosely inspired by his intended, like Universe OTFCC design. The one that was eventually homaged with Alpha Trizer. It might mean something a little bit different here because of the way the plot works from what I've seen in the movie. If you have not seen it, you don't want to be... I won't say it here because if you don't want spoilers, but if you want my whole thought on everything, I did do a whole video about what I think the plot of the entire movie is going to be, where I go into detail about Trion's role in it. So that's something to watch out for. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Please go take a look. But the toy itself looks fine. The toy itself looks fine. It's definitely a weird take on Alpha Trion, but then again, this movie's doing different things, so I don't really mind that. Let's see, and then we have Orion Pax / Optimus Prime. So this is what he looks like after the transformation cog. Battle mask included this time. We haven't seen if that's a thing with that design yet, because we didn't really see that in heavy. We didn't see that one in heavy combat. And when the only fight scenes we saw for Prime, it was like very fast moving. So I didn't really get the chance to see if he had a battle mask or not. It's not a bad looking figure. It looks like it transforms well enough. I can't see where the arms go from here. So that's a plus. You know, seems like it'd be a nice, fun, simple toy. Also, looks like the feet do the whole flip around thing, so they go to the back of the cab rather than sticking out the back, which is already an improvement over just feet sticking up. So that's what we got so far for the mainline toys. It's a small smattering of things, but it definitely gives us an idea of the direction they're going in, i.e. pretty much the direction they go in for all of these kids' lines. Let's look at the toys for the collectors. We do have in-hand shots of the recently announced, and yet it's already in someone's hands in China. Or actually, it might be in Singapore. It's somewhere in Asia. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. I didn't look. I didn't double check. Point is, we do have a full look at the Studio Series Optimus Prime. This is third form after he gets the Matrix, and it's a nice looking Prime. You know, for someone going for a Cybertron, you know, for a Cybertronian kind of like different styling, this is a nice looking Prime. I wish he had a little bit more going on in the midsection, because that's a lot of just flat gray taking up the pelvis and midsection. It doesn't help that the arms are gray on this Optimus Prime. That's a little bit of a deterrent as far as just because there's just so much gray in the midsection already. It's kind of adding to it. So I wish there was something more to break it up. But it doesn't look like it's all that different from how Orion Pax looks post-transformation cog. He is buffer. He's got more of his traditional design elements added in. You know, we see the smokestacks can be taken off and on. He does include a Matrix. I think it's the same. It might be the same Matrix mold they've been using for everything. Great motion and articulation range, which is good. Like to see that. Yep, he's got some paint in the right spots. He has his battle axe in translucent. Yep, okay, and there is the transformation. There he does look like he has his feet sticking out the back, which is unfortunate. It looks like that got simplified for some reason in the more higher budget version. Guns in the front, nice. Okay, interesting little touch. So he's a very well-armed Optimus. Yeah, it doesn't look like a bad figure. Doesn't look like a bad figure at all. And it's been a while since Optimus Prime graced the deluxe class, so this would be a great chance to just have one that can fit on your desk. Not bad. Not bad. Looking forward to it. We got some other previews, so let's go into things that are not Transformers 1. So we have in-hand shots for the brand new comic edition for Studio Series Grimlock and a Shockwave as well. So yeah, this deco continues to impress me, even though like it's really just, you know, cell shading of the original one, but with blue parts. But it hits different, you know. It actually it looks pretty cool. Cool enough to the point where I actually do want to get it. It is looking nice, and of course he's a 3-sword toy. So hey, here's all of your Dinobots getting all their blades finally. I wish we didn't have to double up on Grimlocks in order to get it, but that's the point we're at. Should have just packed into a swoop. I'm telling you. Gets a little crown accessory too, so that's nice. So yeah, it's a very Marvel take on Grimlock. It's nice to see that they're acknowledging Marvel at all. Because despite it being the other big fiction of the 80s for Transformers, actually going longer than the original cartoon, if we want to remember that, it does get neglected quite often, you know, especially the unique elements of it, you know, like Decos. Shockwave does seem like he has the same primary colors as his normal toys. The shading on him does look nice, and the removal of translucent plastic obviously is a selling point for me. Severed head of Optimus Prime, still a weird accessory. Still kind of cool. Oh, and there's the submarine mode, because it's absolutely a submarine. It is weird that it doesn't come with the additional armor, but that keeps the cost down, and yeah, I don't really care for it anyway, so there we go. The classic cover. Yeah, looks, you know, I'm glad that's actually going to be a thing. I mean, it still just looks like a really, really good take on Shockwave. Takara's also doing their version of this Shockwave soon in a 3-pack, so there's a lot of ways of getting the Shockwave mold without the additional armor parts if you didn't like them. Let us move on, shall we? Back into movies, and now we go Bayverse. What a lot of people are calling the final masterpiece toy for the original '07 movie lineup has finally been announced. This is Brawl. Brawl looking good. My only concern with Brawl is the fact that the design on his shoulders is very odd. So you have very small components to actually hold up those big beefy arms. So I really want to know how those are constructed. I want to know if they're all ratcheted in the shoulders in order to hold up all that weight and not wear out so easily. But the look of the toy itself is really impressive. The weathering on the front looks really, really good. It's huge, bulky. It doesn't have that like weird spindliness that the Studio series had. Like, he looks like proper, just like bulk Decepticon. Very big and imposing. Really, really like it. It's another Brawl that'll never come out in the Deep Desert Deco that I like better than this one. Blast effects are good. Because of course, like, the only real scene he has in the movie is getting blasted by Autobots and shooting around himself wildly before being completely killed. You can see he does have a removable arm to replicate it being blasted off in the movie. So so it's another movie toy with some battle damage to it. Yeah, so it's a toy that very much depends on having another figure to pose with it to make it look like, yeah, he's in combat, because that's basically what his appearance is meant for. But it does look impressive. It does look impressive. Like, to date, I've only bought one. Look how big the tank is in hand. Oh, there's no comparison shot. There's no comparison shot. I need a comparison, big boy. 26 centimeters pretty freaking big, though. That's pretty big. Oh, we need comparison. We need comparison. There is another gallery. Let's see if they did a comparison shot. Not really. That was a pretty, the Takara look at it's pretty inclusive. We don't really need anything else. Yeah, there's no real comparison shot. I need size comparison, guys. Show me how big you are. Don't take that out of context. No, it's still. I've only gotten one of the movie masterpieces, Bone Crusher, because it's still my favorite movie style design. I have no idea if this is one that's going to hit me well enough to grab. Might be one of those. Maybe Target will have it on clearance someday kind of pickups. That one. We had a couple behind the scenes from Mark Clonus. Nothing really spoken in these that is really noteworthy, but we do get some good shots of some upcoming toys. Here's Cliffjumper, redone from the Chase mold. You remember me, I was really banking on that mold becoming Lockdown, but it works as Bumblebee. It works as Cliffjumper as well. I do like that the accessories for Chase do work to actually make the Tri Blaster, which is a neat little trick. You need 2 Cliffjumpers in order to get that, which, if you are buying 2 4-packs just so Cliffjumper can have both of his Tri-Barrel blasters, you're the real Cliffjumper fan. You are the real Cliffjumper fan. Yeah, but the retooling is nice. You can definitely see they are the same mold, but they've done just enough to separate them out and give the toy more of a old school muscle car look. Yeah, it's a neat figure. It's a neat figure, I will admit. The only real, behind the scenes stuff that really applied here is just, the design process of making a Transformers Prime character work in universe style, which basically just amounts to they added a nose to him. That's basically all it ended up being. Everything else seems like they're spot on. Like, they're trying much harder. Ever since the debacle with Bulkhead, they are trying much harder to get the Prime characters to look the way you expect them to look, which is nice to know. And then we also got a behind the scenes for Squeezeplay, which again didn't really say much anything of like behind the scenes details, mostly just hype fluff. Other than the original idea was to do another Grotesque retool in order to make him, and then he went, no, let's do Fangry instead. Which admittedly is not a bad call. And the toy itself as Squeezeplay looks fine. I mean, it looks appropriate for your Master Force shelf. That monster mode is still kind of rough, man. It's still kind of rough. I really hope the head can lower down and go more flush to the shoulders, because this is not looking great to me. This is not looking great to me. Yeah, it's going to be one of those that just kind of fills a spot in the collection. Another G1 character marked down. Because I really feel like they could have done a better job on this. I really feel like they could have done a better job, but it's Squeezeplay. He's got his fans, but it's a very, very minor character in the grand scheme of things, so they're not going to put a whole lot of effort into it, which is unfortunate for the Squeezeplay fans out there. But, it's something. It's another Headmaster Jr. at least. Alright. Are ready for expensive stuff, because Prime 1 Studios just showed off a few of their new statues. For instance, their Optimus Primal from Rise of the Beast. Electronic eyes, changeable faceplate, lots of different parts that you can switch in. There's the Beast Mode one with like actual fur detail, which is kind of intense. Make sure you got a detolf in order to store this, because that is not going to be good to get dust. Yeah, it's a cool statue to show both modes at the same time. The electronics are really cool on it. The fur detail is a feature I haven't seen anywhere else. And then they showed off this monster. So they also showed off their Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime, which has this absolutely massive display base. Look at this. Look at their arms. Look at the base. Look at the size of this thing. Look at the size of it. It takes 2 people to assemble it. And this is just the display. This is just his big ring thing that he stood in for like a half second in the movie. Jeez, look at it. Like the actual, look, you have to look at them building the actual statue too. Yes, it's like it better be electronic at that size. But look at that. I can't even begin to imagine who's got the display space to fit a monster piece like that. How do you even begin to put that on display? That's like the size of a coffee table. Well, for the die-hard Dark of the Moon fan, the ultimate item's on the way. And then just to wrap up, one last little note. So Trumpeter is showing off their Bumblebee movie, Optimus Prime. Or is this Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime? It's hard to tell when they're repainted. Point being, they're showing off a Nemesis Prime, which does look pretty cool. I've never been huge on Nemesis Primes done from G1 style Optimus. I always feel like the more angular and the sharper ones suit him better, but the black and the silver color scheme is always good. This one's actually very thin on the teal color, which is actually kind of surprising. It's not a bad look, though. It's another Nemesis for the collection, because I know there's a lot of people who like their black Optimus Prime repaints. And that is going to do it for our news roundup for the week. Yeah, nothing really silly this week. New movie drop means we're all business here. So, hopefully there's some products in here that are going to be your thing. We'll be watching them with great interest. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.